What if I told you that you're already living in the metaverse and you've been living a majority of your life in the metaverse for quite some time now, actually? You were living in the metaverse before the term metaverse was even a thing. But what exactly do I mean by that? And how do I know for a fact you yourself, who've never met me, has been living in the metaverse this whole time? It's because the metaverse is just the digital world. I'm talking to you right now through the metaverse.
Talking to me?
If you're watching this on YouTube, YouTube is your portal into the metaverse to watch whatever is on the other side inside that metaverse. My phone is a device that captures information from the real physical world and then pushes it into the digital world. So whenever you're looking into your computer screen, you're looking into the metaverse. Even when you're just listening to music in your headphones, you're partly in the metaverse. In my opinion, the metaverse is anything that takes your attention and focus away from this physical realm that we live in. So I guess you could go as far back as to say that the radio is when the metaverse really first came out.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That is one physical sense that makes up the metaverse, which would be sound. So I guess where technology is moving towards the realm of being able to have all five senses inside the metaverse. Think about each sense of being like a different category of businesses inside of this metaverse, maybe. And hearing was radio, and then it evolved into a higher quality radio, and then it evolved into podcast. And then for sight, it started off with just, I don't know if it started off with TV or not. So we now have better TV, and better TV is 720p, then 1080p, and then 4K, and then 8K. It just keeps getting better. And then it changes from where it's not just a two-dimensional surface, that it's a three-dimensional surface, and then becomes an immersive reality experience for us with VR. And then it goes to the point where it becomes augmented reality, to where we can now see things in our daily lives walking around. Right now, that's happening through our phone. What happens when the technology becomes more convenient? Everyone's pair of glasses is a link to the metaverse. Now they're living in the metaverse even more hours of the day. The average person's screen time on a regular basis is out of this world. I think mine is like 5 or 6 hours on my cell phone, which I've heard is not even that bad. Oh yeah! But then that's not taking into account the screen time that I have with my computer. We're already living in the metaverse. We're just not fully aware of it yet. And then there's the other senses of like touch. There's haptic devices being created right now so that we can feel things that are happening in the metaverse. I don't know how we're going to get to the whole taste thing, but freaking crazy. Anyways, when technology advanced with headphones from when we no longer needed to have cords, so like AirPods, it removed that barrier to utilizing those headphones, because that was the only barrier that prevented us from wearing those headphones pretty much everywhere, right? Was the inconvenience of that wire. So some people wear them all the time. Then you're essentially 20% in the metaverse when you're walking around outside, just listening to whatever this is in here. I feel like this is the correct lens, pun intended, to be viewing the metaverse. And I think that having more conscious awareness of this can actually lead to the world having a healthier relationship with this technology. And the reason I say that is because this technology allows us to create levels of dopamine in our brain that was not previously possible before. It leads us into a situation where we're constantly trying to chase that dopamine. People are just wanting to escape their physical world life that they have, and they like the life that they have online better. But when we chase these things, it holds us back from fixing what we have here in the real world. Like if you're constantly chasing the dopamine that's in this metaverse, or like VR porn is an example. I've never checked it out, honestly, but I know of people that have. What's that doing to the brain? That's not like a natural thing at all. And there's people that are doing this stuff constantly, like every single day. And if you're constantly raising your level of dopamine up here to where in the real world you can't reach this level of dopamine, then you're going to become addicted into this metaverse world. I would just be careful, because the more dopamine that you get from stuff like that raises your dopamine tolerance. I recognize that one of the reasons why I didn't like to do things for my family, like around the house or like mowing the grass and stuff like that when I was little, was not because my parents aren't awesome and they asked me to do it in a nice way. They did, but the level of dopamine I'd get for completing those tasks around the house were nothing compared to the dopamine that I was getting completing missions in Call of Duty. I wasn't aware of what these like video games and whatnot were doing to the dopamine levels in my brain and creating that tolerance way up here. So I could never reach that level of excitement or dopamine in a natural way in the real world. Everybody needs to be very aware of this as this technology gets a lot better, because we're able to artificially engineer solutions that are meant to give humans as much dopamine as possible. Because from a business perspective, if you give a human more dopamine, they're more likely to come back and come back and come back. Look at TikTok and how addictive it is. It's because they're able to take the information that you give them with your watch time and then feed you things that you want that gives you more dopamine. And it's just a race to as much dopamine as humanly possible, which actually brings up a really good point, which is why we really need decentralization. If we don't get any sense of decentralization with businesses as this metaversal world keeps continuing to grow and evolve, then we will always have businesses with the primary goal of getting more money and more money and more money at the expense of mental health for the entire world. But if we have decentralized businesses in place, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, then we can actually have like decisions that are made by the people. We already have Twitter campaigns actually for other DAOs that are currently happening of vote no on proposal XYZ. And then somebody can write a full article of how they think this could actually be very detrimental for the world. And then we can make sure that we don't have something created that will artificially raise the level of dopamine that the entire world will get from this one very important application that the whole world uses. It's where we can now have decisions that are made from not just a place of what's going to make this entity more money, but what will actually make the world a better place. That's one of the reasons that I think decentralized businesses is going to be so important in the future. And if we don't reach that, then we're going to be caught in a game of continuing to raise the level of dopamine higher and higher and higher and higher in every single person in the planet. That's kind of my take on that. And then the other take that I have is that if we do continue to go into this metaverse world, which is very obvious that we're doing, then we really want to make sure that blockchain technology is the foundation of it, right? Because if our world continues to become more digital, the only way for you to own something digital is if it's on the blockchain.
Nice.
Blockchain is just a way to store things online. That's it. It's just a storage location. It's where we store data. Data can be anything. Data can be skin that you got in Fortnite. It could be a gun in a video game. It could be your actual data like what Facebook has. It could be your email, your name. Anything that is online is data. This is a piece of data. This is my data that I'm giving to YouTube, basically. So if you want to have sovereign ownership in the digital world, and this world is becoming more digital, then you better vote on blockchain being a massive part of it. That's what NFTs are, non-fungible tokens. An NFT is a digital thing. Every artwork, let's take a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape, for example, either one, doesn't matter. The image that you see, that monkey, is just a physical manifestation of a serial number. That serial number is just a string of random numbers and letters, which is called a token address. That token address is actually the NFT. And then the picture of the monkey or the CryptoPunk or insert whatever NFT here is the physical manifestation of that NFT. That is what you own. And on the blockchain, it says that that token is owned by your wallet address.
Wow.
So if it wasn't for this technology,
then you wouldn't be able to own anything online.
Because a world without this is a world that's ran by centralized databases. If you buy something in a video game, let's say a skin on Fortnite, it seems to be a worldwide example that people understand. So if you're not familiar, a skin is just like wearing clothing on your video game character. And that clothing, when you buy it from Fortnite, they just let you have access to that clothing. They just like push a button that says, okay, he has access to that. You don't actually own it. So at any point in time, they could just click that button back technically and then take it back from you. There's nothing really stopping them from doing that. But if that skin on Fortnite was an NFT, then they sent click, and then that sent the skin to you directly. There would be no way for them to take that back away because it's immutable. That's what the blockchain is. It cannot be undone. It is an action that was actually pushed onto the blockchain and done, good to go. That's why this is so important. So if you want to have any sense of sovereign ownership, then you better hope that blockchain, crypto, and NFTs is a part of it.